Florida coach Billy Napier said that his offense will be ready for Glenn Schuman and the Georgia Bulldog defense on Saturday in Jacksonville. One of the biggest games of the season that Georgia has every year, the big rivalry against Florida. And Billy Napier, who is on the hot seat right now, big time, he had a lot to say about Kirby Smart, Carson Beck playing Trevor, Etienne, Glenn Schuman. He had a lot to say about the entire Georgia Bulldogs team earlier this week, and that's what I'm going to break down. His thoughts, what he had to say about Kirby and the Dogs. So let's jump right into it, right? Of course, you can read all of this over on Dog Post, so make sure you're checking that out. We've got a lot of content going on, but he said overall, doing a little coach speak, he said Georgia's got a really good football team. Right? No brainer. Everyone knows that. He said offensively, it starts up front with their veteran quarterback and their veteran offensive line. Check, right? Carson Beck isn't playing his best right now. I'm going to talk about that in just a second because he was asked about that. But yeah, they need better play from Carson Beck. I think they're going to get Tate Ratledge back at right guard. That's going to be even better for Georgia's offense and that offensive line, which played really well against Texas. He said they've got a multitude of skilled players at every position. Defensively, they have an identity. It starts with personnel, their height, their length. They've got speed in the second and third level. They have great special teams, kicker, punter, snapper. He's right about that. Georgia does have some of the best special teams across the country in college football. The returners, I said the entirety of the team makes this a big challenge for us. We zoom in on the parts of our team are pieces that can grow and improve. Everyone has to get better. He's trying his best. And when you watch the video, which again you can find on Dog Post, he's not trying to make this a big, it's Georgia coming to town. We've lost 3 straight, our biggest rival. He's like, we just have to play fundamental football, do what we can do, play tough, try to beat them in the trenches, and take it one play at a time. That's how you're going to beat Georgia, not thinking about it and overstressing about it. You've got to do your job, and you've got to game plan and have your players ready to play at their best, because that's what it's going to take to beat Georgia. He knows that, and he's not real happy that the team that he needs to beat the most is the team that still is kind of, the standard of college football right now. Someone asked about Michael Williams and how much Georgia's defense and that entire front seven is better with him in the mix. We saw him not play a ton throughout the Texas game, but when he played, he was easy to notice. He was making plays. The defense is different when he's out there, and when he's 100% out there making plays, it makes things even easier for everyone around him, including the linebackers and the rest of the defensive linemen. What he does against the run, he's obviously a tremendous pass rusher. When he's healthy, things are different. He said, this is what Billy Napier had to say about him. He said he's one of the more talented defenders in the country this year and in most years. He's been that way for a while. He said that kind of chuckling. He knows how good Michael Williams is. He said he can be a challenge, slippery on the rundowns. He's versatile in terms of where he rushes on third down. He's got height and the length. And I messed up. I got a grammatical error on one of my stories, of course. Classic. Read that over on Dog Post. He's an inside rusher and an edge rusher. He's one of the better players in the country for sure. As soon as I get done with this, I need to go edit that. Make sure you find that before I do. Give you a little chuckle. But yeah, Michael Williams is an absolute dog. And he's probably a first-round pick if he continues to play at this level. Was very productive when he was out there against Texas. On facing Trevor Etienne, right? One of the big, this is kind of a revenge game, right? For Trevor Etienne, who played at Florida last year. Had no problem saying that he came to Georgia because he wants to win a championship. He didn't want to go 6-7 again, right? He came to Georgia to win. He's got a big opportunity. I think he's going to have a big game. He's going to get the ball a lot. And listen, at the end of the day, he's Georgia's best player on offense. He's Georgia's best player. He needs to touch the ball as much as possible. He has been the MVP of the offense and maybe the whole team so far this year. He's got to touch the ball. I think he's going to do a lot of it against Florida. He wants to have a big game. He wants to get out there and light it up. But here's what Billy Napier had to say. He didn't say anything specific about Trevor Etienne. He just basically said, you know what? This has become the norm of college football. It's already happened a handful of times this year. We played against players on the other side who had been on our team in the past. It feels like there's a story each week about scenarios like that. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. unfortunately. I'm not trying to speculate, but I don't know if DJ Lagway is there next year. He's going to have a bunch. I mean, that's the quarterback that you're going to see. He may not look great against Georgia, but I'm telling you, that kid has a rocket of an arm. He is an incredibly gifted. He's a talented runner. He's naturally athletic. He's a big deal. If Billy Napier is not coaching the Gators next year, I don't think DJ Lagway is the quarterback of the Gators next year. But they lost Trevor Etienne, who would, they've got backs. They've got a freshman, Jaden Ball, who I wrote about over on Dog Post. He's a freshman running back, had a massive game against Kentucky from the state of Georgia. But Trevor Etienne would make Florida a better team. He certainly made Georgia a better team. So we talked a little bit about that. You could tell he didn't want to answer the question. He's just like, yeah, I mean, our players are going elsewhere and they're really good, especially this guy who's Georgia's lead back, one of the best players on the team, played for us last year. Didn't want to talk about it. He kept that pretty brief. Someone asked him about Glenn Schuman. They used to work together at Alabama. Glenn Schuman was a grad assistant there. Billy Napier is a big fan of Glenn Schuman. I'm going to talk about that in just a second because he was raving about it. But first, I have to plug at collegebronze.com. That's where you can get this bad boy right here, the #1 Georgia Bulldog statue on the market. Let's put him here. Let's put him here so you can still see him. You're not going to find anything like this out there on the internet, in the market, whatever. This is a stone, 35 pounds. He's not going anywhere. He's going to look around your front porch, back porch, in your office. You got to have him set up for the holidays. Everyone knows that we cover the dogs in this house, because sometimes I'll have them out on the front porch. Get yours today. Promo code DOGPOST. That's what I'm trying to get at. DAWGPOST. All the information is in the description below in this video. Perfect time of the year to have a Georgia Bulldog statue. So get yours today. Promo code DOGPOST. Order in the description below in this video. Thanks for doing that. And I'm going to leave him here. Here's what Billy Napier had to say about Glenn Schuman. He said, he's an outstanding coach. He's a great human being. He works extremely hard. He's a football guy. I've been in the trenches with him. I respect him. It'll be a great challenge for our players and our staff. They have quality depth along with different pressure variables and coverage variables. We understand it and will be ready for it. That's how I started this video, with that quote right there. We understand how good Glenn Schuman and that defense is, and we're going to be ready for it. And listen, they are playing with some confidence. That group that has put up 40 points against Mississippi State, they did against Kentucky. Yeah, it's not Georgia, but they do have a quarterback that's giving them a spark, who can bring explosive plays to the offense. They do have a promising freshman running back. They do have an offensive line that seems to be gelling and playing their best right now. They pushed Kentucky backwards better than Georgia did. I'll give them that. So they are scoring points, and they are showing that they can be explosive and run the football. That's what this team wants to do. They don't want this freshman throwing the ball 40 times. They're going to get crushed if this dude's out there throwing the ball 40 to 50 times. They want to run the football, move the chains. They want to work the time of possession. They want to own the clock. They want to determine how the flow of the game, and they do that by establishing the run. He knows that Glenn Schuman and the Dogs are going to be coming after him, different run blitzes, 3rd and long. They know that they're going to be bringing a lot of pressure on this young quarterback who hasn't seen a defense like Georgia's yet. So we'll see how it goes, but he seems confident. He's a confident guy, Billy Napier. I'm not sure he should be, but he is, and he says, hey, we're going to be ready for it. I know Glenn Schuman really well. I know what he does best. I know what he wants to do, and we're going to be ready for it. So he is talking with some confidence. And then he was asked about Carson Beck. Someone said, Carson Beck is playing up and down right now. How do you say that? And he goes, we don't subscribe to that narrative. We don't believe that. He said, quote, this guy is elite. He's an elite quarterback who has been fantastic throughout his career. He's a big, athletic guy. He's seen a lot of football. With their practice environment, the number of variables that he's seen from a pressure coverage standpoint, he can throw it all over the park. He's highly regarded for a reason, and he needs a bounce back game, right? This is a kid from Jacksonville that Florida did recruit. He said, no, I want to go to Alabama. Scratch that. No, I don't. I want to go to Georgia. I want to sit and wait. He didn't want to, but he had to. And I want to be the quarterback at the University of Georgia. He could have transferred. He stayed. He likes it here. He has a special kind of hatred for the Florida Gators, being a Jacksonville kid. He used to go to that game all the time. So this is a big deal. He played pretty decent last year from what I remember. Yeah, he made some throws. He made some bullets. Ladd McConkey had a big game, late touchdown to Dylan Bell, but he played well. he's got to play better than he did against Texas. And they got to get the run game going. The only way Georgia loses this game is if he turns the ball over. If he plays safe, efficient football, just like he did against Auburn, 21 for 26 or 22 for 28, 0 interceptions, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, they're going to be perfectly fine. They're going to win this game. He doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to throw the ball all over the field. If he takes care of the football, plays efficient football, finds the end zone a couple times, takes care of the ball, Georgia's going to win this game comfortably. But Billy Napier seems confident in his offense, at least, can move the ball on Glenn Schuman and Georgia's defense. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you over on the website.